Alan Steinfeld, host of New Realities TV and the author of his brand new book, Making Contact, Preparing for the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. The introduction to your book is incredibly prophetic. And I have goosebumps just saying that. It's profound on many levels. And you really relate the need for us to connect with these advanced otherworldly beings in order to evolve our own species at this time with free energy technology, whatever they might be able to offer and share with humanity during this tumultuous time, this time of a great positive shift. And so and you bring in the history and the luminaries that you've interviewed over the years and your own UFO research and experiences. And I just want to say the introduction is incredibly well written. And then of course you go into these essays with people who are famous for their UFO contact.
I so much appreciate you saying that, because it took me 6 months to write that. It's like, how am I going to package 75 years worth of history and 200,000 years of human civilization? And I didn't quite channel it, but it sort of like came in pieces, and it was trying to translate a kind of abstract awareness into words that could be easily read and understood. And that opening quote, do you remember the opening quote I have? Do you have the book there with you now?
I actually have it on Kindle, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that opening quote of the introduction, I was saving that for 20 years. Could you want to read that opening quote? Because that's like my favorite part of the book. And it's written by an abolitionist in 1844. And I thought, well, this is so contemporary. So yeah, read that, because I think that readers will get a sense of where I'm coming from.
There are seasons in human affairs of inward and outward revolution, when new depths seem to be broken up in the soul, when new wants are unfolded in multitudes, and a new and undefined good is thirsted for. There are periods when the principles of experience need to be modified, when hope and trust and instinct claim a share in the guidance of affairs, when in truth to dare is the highest wisdom. William Ellery Channing, The Union.
Yes, The Union, 1844. Doesn't that sum up where we are now? Like, I actually get emotional hearing that, and I've read it. I know. Because to dare is that line just caught me. To dare is the highest wisdom. This is why we're out in front, me and you and a bunch of other people, talking about this. It's like, this is the future. This is, it's beyond survival, but it puts us in a realm that transcends the past, which was about survival,
Yes.
We need to transcend survival in order to survive. That's my thesis.
Ah, beautiful. I just get this image of moving into the higher chakras, my picture behind me, right? We've been stuck in these lower chakras. And I do believe that these chakras represent dimensional stages of evolutionary development, and we've been stuck in this like third chakra, and I feel that this fourth dimension is all about moving into the heart, and here's the gateway between the lower and upper chakras, and communication or making contact, right, is in the fifth chakra, this fifth age that the indigenous say we're moving into.
Yes, it is a fifth chakra thing. We're learning to develop the divine voice, the divine communication, the thing that expand. That's how we make contact with each other, right? Making contact is our connection to humans, to humanity and beyond. And so you're right, it's a fifth chakra experience we're going into.
And
So,
speaking of communication, can you explain the symbol of the Asterix between making and contact on your book?
I'm so happy you asked that question, because I've been waiting to answer that question, because the asterisk, it's like a little star. It is the point of making contact, the star, that abstract place of awareness between making and contact. There's a point that, you see, symbols are undefinable within words. And my thesis and theory is that these beings don't communicate to us in words. They communicate to us in what do linguistics call a cluster of meanings, like emojis. If I give you a thumbs up, it's like, does that mean yes? Does that mean I'm happy? Does that mean I'm with you? It means all those things. So this is sort of my understanding of how they communicate with us, not in the concretized understanding of words and this means that, because they are much more abstracted beings. You know, the abstraction is a sign of greater intelligence. This is why humans have survived over many animals, because we've been able to think abstractly. What's over that mountain? What if we make fire here? What if animals are great, but they're instinctual? They don't necessarily have the ability to think abstractly because they're so present within the environment. So they don't make plans. Yeah, maybe they make nests and all that, but that's still instinctual. We have the ability to think in these higher realms, but then we still concretize things into, I know what this means, and this, and you call something a tree, and then you think you know what it is because you've called it that. But trees are incredible beings. They're not one thing. And so the more we live into abstract awareness, the greater the cluster of meanings we can access from the universe, the more our right brain, which is a pattern seeking part of ourselves, you know, left brain is very linear, right brain is intuitive, it's the feminine, it's the receptive, and that right brain sees patterns. Patterns are what symbols are. You recognize the asterisk, it's a little star. It means something, but what does that mean? It means something different, but it also means something the same. I describe it, for me, I had to put some abstract language right in the title because I wanted that communication immediately to be, I can't say understood, but apprehended by the reader. You see, there's a difference between apprehension and comprehension. There's a difference between wave forms and collapsing the wave. You know what that means in physics? When,
Yes,
right?
things are waves until a conscious observer looks at them, and only then do they become particles of form.
That's right. And when they become particles of form, they are no longer anything else. I'm saying it's this and that is what it is. But quantum computers talk about superposition. So it's superposition is, let's say you have a set of dice in your hands. I sort of developed this in Las Vegas, this idea. And you roll the dice, it lands, you've collapsed the wave function into 7 or 11 or 8. But before the dice land, when you're rolling them, an infinite or at least 36 different potentials exist. So supercomputers calculate the probabilities and not the results, and it gives them, these computers, a lot more information, because life is always changing, life is always moving. There is no ultimate collapse of the wave function. Everything is in superposition if we understood how to use our minds to wormhole our way through reality. Let me just put it that way. So I say, words make us comprehend, but symbols make us apprehend. Apprehension, people use apprehension in a sort of negative way. They're apprehensive, but it just means the form has not been solidified and exists in many levels at once. This is apprehension. When you apprehend or sense or intuit, you're sensing the greater reality of potentiality. And this is how, I believe, from my context experience, the ETs think and function and use their technology and use their minds and interact with people through an abstract expression, abstract knowing. And if we can tap out of the realm of knowing into not knowing, into freedom from the known, like Krishnamurti says, the great, Hindu philosopher, says, true freedom is freedom from the known. If we can start to live in the unknown, in the abstract, and without, collapsing the wave function, we'll be closer to where and how these ETs exist on their level of awareness.
It reminds me of the Law of One books, right? When they were channeling Group Ra, and Group Ra kept referring to this potential possibilities vortex, right? Yeah. And so they would ask questions about the future, and they would say, well, based on the possibility probability vortex, then this is a set of things that may happen.
Right. I mean, that is what happens then. So it's like the infinite space is passing through this moment, this pinpole moment of time, and then it's like out again into the infinite. So all we have is this moment. And if we could stay abstract in this moment, not just me and you, but everyone listening, then anything is possible. Then timelines change. We can shift the timeline reality potential of the human being into infinite forms of consciousness. This is what the hope, I think, of meeting, of making contact holds for us, So that Asterix, not to go too long about that one little thing, but that is the whole book in a sense. That Asterix is the point of contact. It's the point and the point of contact.
Beautifully expressed.
It's the message of contact, and it is the actual actualization. If we can apprehend its intent, we are making contact.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this fascinating discussion with author of Making Contact, Alan Steinfeld, right here on Contactee, featured on the Angels, Aliens, and Masters channel of SciSpy.tv.